Hey YouTube! Oh, I'm sitting here at the Valley View Hot Springs. I did 3 videos about this resort about a year ago. Put them on YouTube. We loved the trip. It was a great trip. Other than we had a little bit of hassle at the gate. They come out and yelled at us because I pulled up to the place. There was a gate, so I parked and I went inside to check in. And I got yelled at for blocking the gate. There's no sign that says don't block the gate. But anyway, this just to show you how these people are, and you're going to find out more as this video goes on. I made 3 really nice videos of this place. It's getting a lot of views, and I'm sure I brought the place some business with my videos. However, my wife wanted to go back this year. Now we're leaving in 2 weeks, going on vacation, and we're going to be gone a whole month. Big adventure all over again. We've got to shoot lots of YouTube videos. We're going to be in about 6 states out west, going to a lot of ghost towns, a lot of places. But this video is about Valley View Hot Springs. Okay, I put out 3 really nice videos. This video is not so nice. Okay, so what happened was I made reservations about 5 weeks ago to the place, and I did like you have to do. I gave a $50 donation, which is what you got to do to reserve a spot past 30 days. You got to make a donation, and if you don't donate at least $50, you can't reserve past 30 days. If you make a $30 donation, you can reserve up to 30 days. But in addition to that, you got to pay the $30 a person to stay in there, in addition to the donation, and then your camping fees. Anyway, it costs roughly $100 a night, sometimes a little more depending on where you're staying. It's kind of a pricey place for camping, but this is what happened. Okay, I made my reservation about 5 weeks ago. Well, about a week ago, I get a call from them. They found my YouTube videos after a year, okay? And she told me that we had to do something about the videos, that I violated their rules, is what she claims. I did not violate any rules. She said the main rule I violated was filming guests without their permission, okay? And I did not do that. Every person that appears in my video, I got permission. If they didn't give me permission, I didn't film them, okay? And so when I explained that to the lady over the phone, then she got kind of radical and got really angry and was telling me that in my video in the background you could see cars and things, and that people could blow up license plates on the cars and then do a research and find out who was at the hot springs that particular day. And I'm about to show you that that's bogus. I'm going to show you some actual video of my videos and show you what's going on. But we got in an argument. I told her I did not film anybody without permission. Every single person in my film gave me permission to film them. And the ones that did not, I filmed the part of the pond without the people, but I did put naked people and an arrow pointing off the picture to let you know. And I told you I can't shoot to the left. There's naked people there, okay? And apparently that bothers them, apparently. They're trying to pawn themselves off as a nature refuge, but it's really a nudist colony, okay? I've been there. I've been to lots of nudist places. This is not a nature refuge. It's a nudist colony. I'm not sure how they became nonprofit or how they're even still allowed to be nonprofit. Other than I can kind of understand it where they're protecting the bats. They say and they're protecting the integrity of the hot springs, but I'm not so sure, because the hot spring at the very top of the hill is the only original. That's where the spring comes out of the hill. That pool is a hot spring. But then all the rest of the pools, I'm pretty sure, are man-made. They diverted some of the water to make electric. It's not pristine. It's not natural to what they've done. Okay, and there's way more naked people than you would think. It's a nudist colony. It's a nudist resort, okay? Watch my videos. The videos are there. You got to go back a year, but they're there. It's Valley View Hot Springs. You can find them. Watch the videos. And I did, after I talked to her, we got in an awful argument over the phone. And she told me that we had to resolve this if I was going to keep my reservations for this year. So basically she was threatening me that I couldn't keep my reservation this year unless I removed my YouTube videos from YouTube, okay? And that just ticked me off. So I just told her, I said, lady, just cancel my reservation. I ain't coming now. You guys can just go to hell. you guys are rude anyway. And I'm about to show you all the complaints on TripAdvisor and some of the other sites that complain about this place. It's the same experience that I'm having. Over and over again, people in these complaints use the same word. They act like Nazis. I don't think they act like Nazis. They're not gassing people up in the hills or anything, but they are really rude, and they yell at people. And you'll see that in some of the reviews I'm about to read you. And in addition to that, there was a couple things I did see there last time. I didn't mention in my videos. I've assumed it's kind of figured it's none of my business, but I'm going to tell you now, okay? Because when you get to these nudist places, there are some bad people that come in, okay? You know the ones I'm talking about. Because this is a family place with kids and stuff, okay? And now I showed you in the rules, you know, that as far as the kids, they're not responsible. No matter what happens to your kid while you're there, they're not responsible. It's in their rules. We're not responsible, okay? If some pervert hits on your kid like I saw, they're not responsible. I was in this exact pond right here, and I was sitting right here to the left of me. You'll see the person with the hat on right at the bottom of the picture here. That's where my wife was sitting. The person beside that was where I was sitting. Where I'm sitting is where one man was sitting, and across from me were this other man, right across from me here, that's where the other man was sitting. There were two men in this pool, and me and my wife. And this 5-year-old little girl comes from the pool that's down below here. Her parents were in the pool down below, but she wandered up to our pool and climbed into our pool with us, and she's naked, you know, and she's climbing around on steps and bending over, and I was trying not to look at the little girl, but I was watching the two men, okay? I was watching the two men, and they were really both getting an eyeful. They couldn't take their eyes off of the little girl. But then one of the men that's sitting right here where I am started asking the girl questions. He asked her what her name was, which I'm not going to repeat. He asked her her age, and she was 5 years old. He asked her what school did she go to. He started asking questions. I would not allow a stranger to ask my child these questions in a Walmart, nevertheless a nude place to a naked kid. He was getting information out of her, and she was just giving it out because she's only 5 years old, and she thought, well, this man's, you know, nice and talking to me. So she moved down into the pool and sat beside him. Okay, he's naked, she's naked. They don't know each other. He's never met her before. And right about that time, my wife says, you know, this pool's hot. Okay, this particular pool we're in is not a natural hot pool, okay? They artificially heat this pool. The rest of the pools are just lukewarm. This one pool we're in is hot, but they artificially heat the water and put it back into this pool, which makes it more like a hot tub than an actual spring. And anyhow, my wife said, I'm getting hot, we need to get out. And I couldn't get out, not while the little girl was sitting there beside this man, and he was asking some pretty strange questions from her. And the other man just watched, and he was watching. But so I told my wife, we can't leave. So we just sat there in the pond, and I waited until this child finally got up and went down the lower pool back to her parents, because I was not about to leave while this man was asking this child such intimate questions. And I'm sure this happens all the time. And not just here, this happens at all nudist resorts. They got a rule there that said that the parents are responsible. They're not responsible for anything that happens to your child while you're at their resort, even though they advertise family friendly all over the website, okay? And they don't have a lifeguard at the pool. The pool is heated also, but that's where all the kids and teenagers are, is at the pool. But I didn't go to the pool at all for that reason. I stayed away from the kids and the children. We went to soak in the pools and see the mine and just relax, okay? But after the kids left, then I got out and went on down. And then there's a lot of other complaints, a lot of them. But this lady on the phone, she got real radical with me, and she tried to tell me, you know, you can blow up license plates to find out who was at our springs that day. Just give me a bunch of crap, which is bunk, which I'm about to show you. I'm about to show you all this stuff. I took videos and crap, my own video, and I blowed it up and tried to find, I watched all 3 videos over after talking with her, because it'd been a year. I rewatched all 3 videos, and there was a couple people way in the distance that I didn't ask, and I didn't even realize they were in my video because they were way in the background. And I'm going to show you those two people, and you tell me if you can, what you think. Anyway, watch the entire video about the rest of the complaints. Now she told me over the phone, when I said just cancel everything, she basically said, we still want you to remove the videos. And I said, I'll think about it, okay? Well, I thought about it. I talked to my attorney. I let my attorney review the videos, okay? And then this video I'm making right now, he also reviewed, which is why it took a week to put on, because I was waiting on his answer back whether I'm good with this. He said I'm on solid legal ground. These people can ban me from the property because and you'll see they've done that with a lot of people over minor things, okay? And anyway, I'm gonna go on with the rest of the video here and show you the evidence, and then you guys, you can go back and watch the videos and put comments down below what you think. You really think I've done them wrong? Put a comment down below. If you think they're wrong, put a comment down below. I suggest you get on TripAdvisor. I'm going to show you some of the things that other people put on TripAdvisor, same problems. The thing was, our trip was so nice when we were there that week. It took a year for them to call me on the phone and bitch me out. And I don't need the place. There's other hot springs. There's other places to go. I don't, so you guys, you didn't say you put me on their no entry list, but I imagine after this video I will be on the no entry list. And Valley View Hot Springs, move me right to the top of the list, right to the top. Okay, it's fine. And so let's get on with the evidence here. And one other thing. After my video is my I always try to put a music cover on after every video I make. And I'm doing that with this one too, but I picked a special song and I'm doing it. They got strict rules against noise in the campground, which I'll discuss with, I'll show you some stuff. And so I'm going to do my music video right in the middle of their campground due to my video magic, and we're going to rock out the campground here at the Valley View Hot Springs. Just rock out totally. And the women that are in the video, now you're going to see some half-clad women in my music video, but the people at the hot springs don't have as much clothes as these girls do. And anyway, and like I said, you're going to see some of the complaints, so other people agree with me. It's not a nature resort, it's a nudist resort, okay? And I don't think it should be for profit. They should separate the section with the bats off. They are protecting them bats up in that bat cave. Yes, that's a good thing they're doing, but they have basically ruined the integrity of the hot springs. They say they're protecting by creating more pools so they can fit more people, so they can make more money, and they're pumping water out of the hot springs to make electric down the valley. The hot springs has not got the full amount of water running out the bottom as it should for the wildlife, which they claim they protect the wildlife, and I just don't see it. I just don't see it. And here's what it costs to stay here. You got to be kind of rich to go to this place. As you can see here, they want $30 per person per night just to be on the premises. That's not counting the camping, so there's $60 you got to pay. And then your camping spot is $15, which is reasonable, but you got to pay this $60 on top of that. I guess you can camp if you don't want to go in there and just put your tent up and not actually go in yourself. It might cost $15, but if you want to go in and actually sleep in your tent, you got to pay $30 a person to be inside the premises. So you're up to $75, and then to get a camping spot, you got to make a reservation. Okay. Now to make a reservation, you got to make a donation to their cause. And the minimum donation is $30. So now you're up to $105 to spend one night in their campground. And now this year I paid a little extra because I was trying to reserve 5 weeks out, and you can only reserve 1 month ahead for a $30 donation. So I made a $50 donation, and they let me reserve my spot 5 weeks out. That was before I got into the argument with them and canceled my reservation. And she did ask me if I would like my $50 I donated returned. I said yes, and I haven't seen it yet, but I suspect I won't see it because down here at the bottom, cancellation fee $50. So I figure my money's gone. It's no big deal. And here's their rules and regulations. Most of them make sense, like no smoking fires unless you're inside your vehicle, no glass around the ponds. They let you know it's clothing optional, to play nice and be nice to other people, that there are children of all ages that discover, play, and grow up here. And I want to point out, though, about the children over here, because I did see somebody being a little out of line with a child, and I'll talk about that in my video, but it says right here, kids with parents, safety and behavior of the children is the sole responsibility of the parent. The resort is going to take no responsibility whatsoever, no matter what happens to your kid. Even if some pervert hits on them or something, they're not going to, they're saying that they're going to say it's your fault. Don't shoot strangers. Pack your camera when you're around other people. Now, I did not shoot anyone in my videos that I did not get permission, because all I was wanting to do is shoot the ponds, and there was some people in some of the ponds even at 6 in the morning. I couldn't believe that people were up on that mountain in them ponds at 6 in the morning. But I asked each pond if there were people, if they would mind being videoed and put on YouTube. And I wasn't going to film them naked. I got a family-oriented channel. There was a couple that gave permission. And the ones that you see in the ponds were given permission. And I told them, you know, please don't stand up, because if you do, I'll have to cut and edit it out of the video. And a couple of them were kind of joking around about it. They were going to stand up. I'm going to stand up. But anyway, the people I shot in the video, I had their permission. And you'll see some of the ponds where I only shoot part of the pond and not the entire pond. That's because there were people in the pond that did not get permission. I did not film them. I did put the words naked people in the video with an arrow pointing to the direction where the people were, but I did not show the people. Now, the only thing I did do by accident, I did find 2 scenes where there was another resident maybe 100 yards away, off in a distance. They were very small in the video, and I wasn't even aware, you know, when I edited, I hadn't even noticed that, but they were not naked and they were clothed. So I don't personally, I don't see the problem. So anyway, and then the rest of it, you know, makes sense. You know, oh, peace and quiet. I want to mention that. Peace and quiet. They're saying you got to have peace and quiet. They were very strict on the peace and quiet. You can't even talk on your phone outside of your camper, or somebody, the staff will tell you to put the phone away, which I can kind of understand, because you may be taking pictures with your phone. You know, these phones now can take pictures. Now, this is the only shot of any license plate on any vehicle I could find in my video, and I'm going to zoom in here. There just ain't enough pixels at that distance to blow up and read a license plate. And here's some more vehicles that was in one of my shots. I can't make out no license plates on these. Again, no license plates. And again, no license plates. There are, I mean, you might even see the vehicles. They're right here. This person is the person that was dumping trash that I did not realize was in my video. But you can see, you can't tell who this person is. Let me blow this up and I'll give you a better look. Here's the same person blown up. There's not enough pixels at that distance to enlarge and make any sense out of anything. This looks like a ghost from the ghost town to me. Anybody that knows this person, let me know. If you can tell me who this person is, you know, I don't know. You know, anybody that can recognize this person from this video, you let me know. And here's the same person again. The only other person, you know, the same person, but it's a 3-second shot. You might not even see them. They're right there, okay? And they got their back to the camera. And let me blow this up. Hold on. Right there is what you get. So I do not feel I violated their rules. So I'm sorry, people, but that's just how I feel. Anybody wants to go back and watch my videos, I'm not taking them down. You can go back and watch them. Come back and put an opinion on what you think. Put a comment down below. But all the other people you can see, I had permission. Now I'm going to read you some reviews off of TripAdvisor, and one really bad one that I got off of Yelp that put somebody in the hospital. But I do want to let Orient Land Trust know my channel. If you look at the About, click on About, go to the top of my page. I got over 3 million views on my channel. I get 50,000 views a week on my channel. So here's the reviews. And this complaint was on Yelp, and I just went to Yelp for this one because this is a really serious complaint, I would think. It says, I've been to the Orient Land Trust many times over the past 9 years and always had a good experience. I've been a member at several points and recently came for a day use on June the 3rd, 1918. And I showered before I left and then found myself itching all night long. I woke up with a severe rash all over my body. The urgent care diagnosed me with hot tub folliculitis. I calmly called the Valley View to inform them, as I assumed they would like to know there was a problem with the water in the springs at that time. There was no apology offered, but rather I got a reading to me of their liability waiver. I let them know I didn't mean any harm, but I would appreciate a refund of my $15 as a courtesy gesture. I was told that they did not have the power to do this and the director would call me back. Well, I received a very rude call back from Doug Bishop, their director, who told me he could offer me a refund, but he would put me on a do not admit list. I mean, this person had to go to the hospital because of the crap in their water, and he's putting this person on a do not admit list. I let him know that I did not need to be on any list, and I didn't need a refund at that cost, but rather I viewed this as a customer service issue, where a refund might be given as a polite gesture. Also, I mention I am 23 weeks pregnant and waking up to a full body rash is increasingly alarming when I am also pregnant. I informed the director of this additional risk, and he showed no concern whatsoever, saying, well, why has nobody else called about a rash? I reminded him it is only 10 a.m. and they had only been open for 1 hour. Honestly, I'm blown away by their ineptitude at customer service and their director's rude attempt at skirting responsibility for a very unfortunate situation. Initially, I was shocked that I might be put on a do not admit list, but now I will happily not return, as I have experienced the undertone of the Orient Land Trust and their care for patrons. And that's exactly how I feel. Now I'm going to read you some reviews from other people. This is right off of TripAdvisor. Anybody can look these up that wants to look it up. Here it says, Thanksgiving Blues. I was excited to bring my family up here and was greeted with a ton of rules and about a family dog that made me feel like my dog was a nuisance before we even got started. So instead of spending time with my son and his dog for the holiday in the overpriced room I rented, he had to sleep in his car with the dog, which cost an extra $20. Okay, we got over that. But later in the evening, my son took a call from his father on Thanksgiving and was quietly talking with his father at the pavilion that only had a few people chatting by the fire. He was rudely told to get off his phone. He had to walk off into the dark to say goodbye to his father. I get it, rules are good, but these are overkill. I agree, overkill. Just let us leave our phones and our dogs at home instead of saying you're dog friendly and how great it is. There's a new cell tower. It's like being at an overbearing camp for wayward kids and we were just a nuisance for breaking their Nazi-like rules. Staff was just rude about all of their rules in the end. The best part of it all was getting into bed after a demoralizing afternoon and finding dirty sheets. I had to pay the membership fee to book a room, which put me into Broadmoor pricing. But I'm never coming back since it felt like a dirty 8 motel. And people are right. The atmosphere is great, but the staff is not friendly. Here's another one that says, experience was terrible, from calling to make a reservation and being misled to standing in lines for check-in and orientation for upwards of an hour. I didn't have any orientation. Maybe if they would have given me some orientation, we could have avoided our problems. But I would avoid this place at all costs. The pools were filthy. I didn't find the pools filthy. They had just been cleaned the day before. And I guess they do, I understood they do get slimy, but once a week they drain them and they clean the slime out of them. I got there the day after they had cleaned them. Now it says every single surface was covered with slime. Attempted to call the owner-manager to share my experience. She yelled at me and made excuses and demanded I pay for the people in my party that didn't come, as if they had come. And so it says that they should practice better business practices, save your money and time, and go somewhere else. And here's one that says this place should be called a nudist camp, not a hot springs, which is what I was saying. We went to the first time in years to Valley View Hot Springs. From the reviews, we knew clothing was optional, but we were taken by complete surprise on how much nudity there was. We expected some, but we were the only ones in the place that had clothes on. And even the guy at the Welcome Center was nude and prancing around, and seemed to be more than we could take. We decided to at least give it a try, and found, as my review title says, it really needs to be called a nudist colony. We had several comments made to us that, gee, they have suits which did not look comfortable. Just because they were wearing clothes, people commented to them because they were wearing clothes. And here's another one which I do agree with. Great place, horrible staff. After reading 3 pages of reviews, I am in complete agreement with what has been posted. The hot springs are great, the guests are great, the problem is the staff. This is such a ridiculous problem to have. There are a few times this summer and I enjoyed everything but the staff. I haven't had any problem with the ladies at the desk, but the guys, there was a guy patrolling the property frequently who needs to remind me about rules I'm breaking. There was another guy who works the front desk who is just rude. He should have nothing to do with it, O.L.T. I continue to go back and just deal with the staff. Here's another one. Crummy place with crazy owners. The people that work here are crazy. My son was bitten by bed bugs, and they yelled at him when I wasn't there. They also charged our card twice and made us members. $30 to make a reservation. $100 a night is not cheap. There was a lot of pot used by the guests and staff, which I personally don't have any problem with, but one of the staff sells drugs on the side. I brought this to the owner's attention, and he acted like I was ruining his birthday party. My understanding is that they're in financial trouble for their nonprofit, and they are overcharging guests to get out of legal problems. It doesn't appear to be a nonprofit, which I agree with. It doesn't appear to be a nonprofit when I was there. It looks like a resort, a nudist resort. Also, the owners donate the land and act like it is their living room and everybody else is a poor cousin. Crazy, run down. There's better hot springs down the road. Here's another one. This place has gone down the tubes. Rats, bed bugs, and roosts. There has been, if you look down through all the complaints, there was a lot of them that complained about bed bugs. Luckily, I had my own camper, so I didn't have to worry about that. The hot springs are part of a larger nonprofit that is losing money in droves, so they are overcharging guests, and this guy feels that you're being overcharged too, and they're being rude in the process. Used to be a great place, and something has gone wrong. Here's another one. Rip-off specialists. The hot pools are okay, the cabins are old, the employees are rude, and the rules are out of control. Great that the place allows dogs, but be prepared to pay deposits after you stay for a frivolous claim. Our dog was accused of chasing deer. The employee claimed they couldn't catch the dog for over an hour. This was completely false. The place is small. We were at our cabin all afternoon. We could have been found quite easily. Nobody ever spoke to us. They charged our charge card $50 for the dog for its security deposit. Why didn't anybody speak to us directly that this was going to happen? This indicates that O.L.T. will charge for its security deposit for whatever reason they find. No damage needs to be occurred. The way O.L.T. went about this felt underhanded and untruthful. I understand the need for rules, but this place felt Nazi-like. Now, I've noticed in these reviews, a lot of people use the word Nazi-like. I showed these things to my wife before we went, and we just thought they were disgruntled people that broke the rules, and they were just, but I'm starting to agree they are kind of Nazi-like. Here's another one. Bed bugs and bad manners from management. It's a beautiful location. The pools are nice. However, there is nasty bed bug problem. It seems to be ongoing based in reviews I read on other sites. The attitude here seems that this should be normal and acceptable. I got home after a one-night stay and there were angry welts all over my body, and I was pregnant. And they end up at the bottom here, the same person, bed bugs. Bottom line, it's a beautiful location, which it is, but it's fallen under the curse of a really bad management. As I'm writing this review, I just got a call back from the executive, Suzanne, who wanted to harangue me about how she felt I was rude when I was trying to talk to her about how my stay here was less than pleasant. I still don't know if I will get any kind of a refund because I haven't been given a straight answer. I wouldn't count on it, people. And mix it best. Be forewarned. Valley View has myriad rules, some of which seem a bit strange and can be contentious. The beauty of the natural setting and the delicious comfort of the springs were married by the lackadaisical, sometimes downright bellicose staff members. For example, as the storm was approaching, not a single staff member was willing to offer an opinion as to safety of the pools in stormy weather. In fact, we found most staff members were unable to give any information as to the temperature or conditions of the pools. The rules or the facilities are in general, they were quite willing to chastise to the point of yelling and rudeness for inadvertently breaking any rule. What happened was this: 2 staff members informed us that we could come and go as all we needed to return was a token. However, when we returned at 11 p.m., our car was chased down by an angry staff member who yelled at us for breaking curfew. When we tried to politely explain that we had been misinformed, they become belligerent and exactly stalked away, muttering under their breath. That said, the other guests were very friendly and kind. The guests were, not the staff. There was a summer camp feeling of let's band together and break the rules that seemed to bring people together. We encountered people having sex in pools, people using forbidden cell phones, and all sorts of rule-breaking activities, but to the people it was good fun to get over on the management. Horrible service, nothing but politics. The beauty is graceful and yet totally diminished by the O.L.T staff, customer relations, and harmful policies disconnected from their heart and family. And this is what I ran into. And right here in the beginning, when the complaints first started coming into TripAdvisor, O.L.T did try to respond. They only responded to 2 complaints, and then none after that, none for years. It does say that O.L.T, we strive to allow each and every visitor to forge their own special connection to the special place that the land has to offer. Our staff exercises the utmost respect for each and every visitor, which is false. A recent survey of almost 1,000 visitors showed 91% of our members and visitors are satisfied with our customer relations. I suppose they chose these visitors that they did their survey with. Anyway, we have many visitors who came here as children and now bring their own children. The steady number of children in the past few years demonstrates that we are indeed very family friendly. Indeed, in order to ensure the most positive experience, we do expect respectful behavior from our visitors. However, as is everywhere, there is a very small, very vocal group who bring and spread negativity. There are some people who, for various reasons, are put on warning and not allowed to return due to unacceptable, disrespectful behavior, and these people lash out. We do our best to minimize these situations and create a healthy, positive experience for everyone. Now, they didn't tell me I couldn't come back. I canceled my reservations and told them basically to go to hell. And if they want to put me on a no return list, that's fine. Put me at the top of the list, people, right at the top. And there's another one talking about the bed bugs, and said they complained about the bites on them, and it said that they had so many bites on them that they said they brought their own bedding, but when they left, they had to throw all their bedding into the trash because they wasn't taking bed bugs back into their home. Says, I will never return to Valley View and go at your own risk, as the staff is not going to tell anyone about this. I'm filing a claim against them in order to get information regarding others who have been infested or infected by this problem. And this is the only other review that the management answered, and they talked about the bed bugs. And they said that only a few bed bugs have been found in one cabin and nowhere else. Now, that doesn't seem true in the reviews here. The bed bug saga of the United States is ongoing. As most of you know, bed bugs are everywhere. No, they're not. And not just at Orient Land Trust. Further, bed bugs are not indigenous to high altitude desert climates like the San Luis Valley, where O.L.T is located. So they're saying that the bed bugs can't live there when people are getting bitten by bed bugs in their bed. I mean, come on, people. I've traveled I'm 62. I have never been bitten by a bed bug in any motel or any place I have ever gone. And it says here you can find bed bugs in 5-star hotels and resorts. Making excuses does not cut it, people. You can't say, oh, well, you got bed bugs, but, this is what you find everywhere you go. It's basically what management is saying. And now I'm going to do something that's going to really tick them off. Of course, they ticked me off, so turnabout is fair play. If you want to see the actual hot spring, the one at the top of the mountain, the actual hot spring with that pool. Now, you can't get to the other pools by this trail, but if you want to just see the hot spring, there's a BLM trail that leads to it. You go past the hot springs, where you turn off to the hot springs, take Valley View Road east from the junction of Highway 17 and 285, go approximately 8 miles, then you get to the Valley View Hot Springs turnoff. Don't turn up to the hot springs, go right. Go a half mile up Garner Creek Canyon, CR 65 to the trailhead. and that'll be trail number 752. But at the same spot is also trail 753, which is the Hot Springs Trail, which leads up to the back side of the mountain from where the resort is, and it'll take you right to that hot spring at the top of the mountain. And so just don't go down the hill into the hot springs without paying, or they're going to raise hell. And because, you know, they're like everybody says, they're Nazis. And if you want to see the Orient Mine, I found this on a BLM website. Going to the Orient Mine, you got to go to the Valley View Hot Springs, park outside the gate, and then you got to get a pass to go through the gate. There is no fee to hike. Pets are allowed on a leash. So if you want to go to the mine and just hike to the mine, they're not supposed to charge you anything if that's all you're doing. Now, you can't soak in the ponds or go up the hill to the hot springs or anything like that, but they're supposed to allow you to hike to the mine. And if you want to just see naked people, you will see some on this, and you want to pay no money if you're that kind of a person, but that's not really why we go. Okay, here I am in the top pool, the one at the very top, the one you can get to from the trail from the BLM. I did want to say just a couple things before I end the video. The one fella where I toured all 6 pools, his name was Mark. You'll see him talking a lot on the video because he was guiding me around. He was a really nice fellow. And when I mentioned to the lady from the hot springs on the phone during our argument that he was such a nice fella and he was guiding me around, he was with me, and he helped me shoot all the videos without getting anyone that didn't want to be photographed. Well, the lady told me over the phone, oh, he's in a lot of trouble. He's in all kinds of trouble now. So Mark didn't do it. Watch the video. Mark didn't do a daggone thing. He just guided me around. I shot the videos. I don't know why they say Mark is in a lot of trouble. He's probably on their no entry list now too, just because he guided me around. And because these people are can be so, I didn't find out till after the fact, but they can be so mean and so rude, and it just sucks. And one other thing I want to say, they're getting about $100 a person that spends the night, and 240 people allowed in per day. That's $24,000 per day they're taking in, okay, for a non-profit hot springs. It's not it's a resort, and they should not be non-profit. It's just bullcrap. And then they only allow 240 people. So anybody wants to go there, if you're not spending the night, don't count on getting in. We went there 2 years ago and we couldn't get in. They wouldn't let us in. They said they hit their quota. And you'll see people complaining about that on TripAdvisor. A lot of them went all the way there and then they wouldn't let them in. The problem is there's about 200 people staying in the campgrounds each night. So right off the bat the next morning, there's only about 40 people that can do a walk-in. And so you basically, if you want to see the springs, you got to call and pay the money and make a donation and reserve a spot if you want to get in. Okay, and so anyway, that's it for my video. I do got my music video immediately following this. I did pick that song specifically because of what happened in the pool with the little girl, and my music video may seem like I'm being a little vindictive against the place. Well, I am. So hey, watch the video. It's a rocking video. It's maybe not one of my best music videos, but I just wanted to pick it because of Aqualung and how he, about in the song he talks about how he looks at the little girls and watches the panties run. So it kind of reminded me of the fella in that pool with the little girl. Okay, so anyway, we'll see y'all later. I got one more travel video, Route 66 Museum in Oklahoma, and I'm going to do a video about changing the battery out on the camper and let people know what type of battery you should put in your tag camper so that it can last more than one daggone day. The tag little guy, they put the wrong batteries in their campers, really, and I'll explain that in the video. So you'll see those videos coming over the next 2 weeks, and then I'm going to be gone a whole month, okay? And we're going to like 6 different states and going to a whole lot of places. And as always, I'll be taking you with me. You just got to wait about a month. I'll be gone a month. I'm sorry. I'll miss all of y'all. But when I come back, you'll get to see all these places and it'd be just like you went with me, okay? And so we should be putting out some great videos. And so we'll see y'all later.